For 3 years, we've been talking about putting an addition on our house. When we have company over, especially if it's more than two people, it can get pretty crowded in here. This isn't a real big house, and just getting into the house can be kind of congested. We have a front entrance, but most people like to come through the west door, and that's kind of small. So what we plan on doing is expanding the west entrance and the dining room a little bit, so we can turn our dining room table around, put a leaf or two in there, and seat a whole bunch more people more comfortably. And once we get this addition put on there, we'll have a bigger entryway on the west side, so we can have people come in, place for them to sit down and take their shoes off, hang their coats up, and even a place to store more firewood, maybe enough for a couple days. The first thing is to draw up some plans about what we want to do and figure out about how much money we're going to have to spend on this. This is the existing walls in the house, and this is where the west entrance is. What we want to do is take out this patio door and open this all up in here, so we'll have an entrance over here with just a standard 3-foot door. Some windows, closet, maybe not right there, we might change that. But anyway, we'll open all this up, and we'll have a bigger entrance so people can sit down, take their boots off and coats and stuff. It's not going to be that big of an addition, about 150 square feet. And I also drew up, because I want to match the roof on the house, and get an idea what the outside will look like. So we'll have a door, window here, a window on each end too. And then we can match up the roof on the house. And since, like everything else we build here, we want to build it as low cost as possible. So that usually means the most labor intensive. And this is going to be a block foundation. That's actually what the house is too. And what I like to do, I like to build it on paper first, build it in my mind, so I get an idea of what it's going to take. And I can calculate how much concrete it's going to take for the footings, how many block it's going to take, and then I can add all that up and come up with a price. We also want to have a porch roof over the entrance too. We kind of like the rustic log look, so we'll probably do something like this. And I tried to build that on paper and in my mind too, so I can come up with a price, what it'll take. So the next thing to do was to just get some materials here and get to work. The first part of the addition project is to remove the old porch. Get that out of the way, because that addition is going to come out right where that porch is. And as I'm taking this apart, trying to save all the materials, I think I only broke one board off the roof, but so far I saved everything. Might be able to use it in the future sometime, future project with this. It's all treated material, so it's still good shape. I have the porch all stripped off now. A little chalk mark on where the wall is going to be, that direction. And I stripped off this cedar corner off the house because I want to be able to reuse it. Cedar is pretty expensive. So now I guess I'm going to get to digging. Kind of close quarters in here, so I'm going to have to do a lot of digging by hand. And I guess that's the way it goes. Hard labor. Now that I have it excavated, I need to get my corner stakes in. This one over here is pretty easy because I could just measure off the old concrete footing. Measure over my 24 inches. That'll be the corner. Now to get this other corner, I need to get it square off of the old building. Well, it's not that old, but the house. And so what I did, I used, everybody knows like the 3, 4, 5 right triangle. This one I went with a 6, 8, 10. So I measured out 8 feet on this 1x, and it's right there. And I measured out 6 feet along the wall. First I measured the length of the addition, and I drove a nail in. And then to get a square, 6, 8, 10, just match up the 10-foot mark with the 8-foot mark. And that's pretty close right there. My 1x was a little bit short, so running a level straight edge to get it out a little bit more, and mark where I'm going to drive my stake. I measured out from the wall to get my other mark, and this one I went with a 6, 8, 10 right triangle. And now I'll drive my stake right down there and level it in with the footing, and then I can measure again and mark my corner on top of the stake. Close enough. I'll just measure out from the wall to get the measurement for the length of the wall. Well, I got all my corners in place and I'm ready to form up the footings now. This is just going to be 4-foot high crawl space walls. The footing walls are going to be 4 feet high. Then I got to be 8-inch blocks, so the footings on the end here are going to be 16 inches wide, 8 inches thick. And then this front wall, I'm going to have a rock face on the upper portion of the addition, so I'm going to need a footing wall for that. And I was going to go with a 6-inch wall, but right now the 8-inch block are less expensive than the 6-inch block, so I'm going to have a 8-inch brick ledge or rock ledge or whatever you want to call it, a footing wall for the rock face that's going to go above. So this footing over here is going to be about 26 inches wide. So it's going to be pretty wide. I'm a little bit deep on this end, about 1 inch where the stake is, and on the other end I got to dig that down a little bit. And the footing on this end is going to be the same as the other, just 16 inches wide. Drill into the old footing for the rebar to tie it together. So I'm about 1/3 of the way up, or probably about 3 inches off the bottom of the footing. As far as I can go in there. This is what I use for my rebar bender. There's a hole in the bucket of this. Slide the rebar all the way through there. Get it. I got my first mark is where I want to bend it, and the other one's the actual measurement. It's a little bit off, and then you get it. Well, I'm ready to start pouring footings now. Got the rebar set in there. The bottom part of the footing will be a little bit wider than the top because I don't have forms all the way down to the dirt. That'll be alright. Now I'll do half of it first, and then I'll have to back up and put the rest of the forms in. Everything's pretty congested in here in this little spot to get everything set in here. So probably do a half at a time, and then I also got to move some cement blocks in here before I put those other forms up. So it is going to be congested in here. And this is the gravel I'm using for the mix. Not quite as much rock in there probably as a ready mix mixture, but there is quite a bit of rock in there mixed in. So I'm mixing it about 4-to-1, 1 Portland. There's the directions for a concrete mix. But like I said, since there ain't maybe, there's quite a bit of rock in there. But I'm mixing about 4-to-1. It'll be plenty strong. And just finishing up the front here. It's about as far as I can go. I'm going to move some concrete block inside here and set it down before I pour this end. So I gotta strip a few forms off and I'll get to leveling that off. I'll stick the vertical rebar in after I'll drill it down so I can get exactly where I want it. Since I got the drill, the hammer drill, I can drill it down pretty easy. Otherwise people stick it right in the soft cement if they can get it accurate. It's hard to get accurate that way, but when it's hard I can just drill it down. It holds it good. And I just got to form up this end after I get the cement block in. Time to move this stuff out of the way, it looks like.